Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to the Rainbow Pitch League. We are here for some top 8 action once again. My name is Kiki, and of course, I'm joined by Elaine. And in our game, we have Alice playing Prism, or a cat. And on the right, we have Dorinthea being played by Aria. Welcome back. Hello, Elaine.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
It looks like we've gone straight into this game, however. We have a Go Again Herald of Ravages Blue. Just starting it off before I can get the sponsors in.
Yeah, and we're just going to see a full block here from Aria with a red Iron Song response, and I think it was a lead with speed was the second card, a red lead with speed.
That's something I'm just never gonna know. It's just already hidden. We have cats on both sides of the field. Aria using, I believe that's her cat on the sleeves. She was in our
On the
top 8 last
sleeves.
year. Yeah. Um, I can't confirm whether or not that is her cat. And then, of course, there is the cat token being used to represent the prism on the left.
So
What?
opening with a Duskpath Pilgrimage, which is +1 to Dawnblade. So Dawnblade's going to be coming in for 4, and on hit you can attack with an additional weapon this time. So it's basically just Dorinthea's ability +1.
Mhm. We just really want to make the most of this, like, double hit kind of scenario. Especially, is this an on hit effect, or is it just you always get to attack with it again?
I believe it's an on hit effect for
Okay.
Duskpath.
So should this Dawnblade hit, then we will be able to attack with the sword multiple times after this, just to really push the damage through and really threaten that additional counter. Um,
And it did hit. So that is a Grains of the Bloodspill activation, which Grains says you can pay 1 on hit and create a Vigor token. So just generating some resources for the next turn. Looks like we're not going to get a second swing on that. We're just going to go ahead and Arsenal and pass.
mhm. And we're getting a
Citing then.
pitch of the Figment of Rebirth. So that one's not coming out this turn. We have another blue herald. This time it's a Wartune herald. While this is happening, let's quickly shout out the sponsors, see how many we can get through. Our sponsors for the top 8 are Premier Card Grading, Fab Foundry, API Source, Iswordy Therianto, Fabric, and TCG TED.
Ooh, shout out to the sponsors.
And of course, those sponsors, as well as every sponsor we've had throughout the course of the league. We appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for being here for our community.
We are getting a block with a route, I believe. Yep, and a Brave Forge Bracers. I also didn't say that last turn, Dawnblade, although it had the on hit from the Dust Path Pilgrimage and the on hit from Dorinthea, there was no source of Go Again that we know of. So it's just the Grains activation means we can assume what is in Aria's arsenal is not a Glint the Quicksilver.
Mm-hmm. And here we have a Dominate Herald. This is the Herald of Triumph? No. Tenacity. Herald of Tenacity. Blue again. All these blue heralds coming in for 5 damage. Now, having a look at these deck lists, I know
Um,
it's not just like a pure blue-yellow list. There are 6 red heralds, but we've only been able to attack with the blue ones so far. I think that's the yellow one in Alice's arsenal. So not only are they trying to kind of
oh,
force the on hit through, they're kind of pressuring Aria's equipment. And here we have an Angelic Wrath to push it up to 8 to get that on hit, get the first Figment out of the deck. I have to imagine that it's going to be Erudition.
I do think that is a Herald of Triumph and not Tenacity, and you were correct the first time.
I'm pretty sure Triumph is the one that gives -1, right? Am I
Well,
wrong?
there's no Tenacity in the deck. There's no blue Tenacity in the. Oh, it's a yellow. It's a yellow. Okay.
Hold on, I could definitely be wrong.
You well because you had said it was a blue and there is no blue Tenacity in the deck.
Oh, right,
But
no,
it's a yellow.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a yellow.
I forgot
We
that
were
the
we were both wrong and correct in our own ways.
I forgot that the Herald of Tenacity has one less power than the average Herald. Like the red one is a 6
Yeah.
rather than a 7, so
Y-
that makes sense.
yeah.
But we did get the Figment of Erudition, like I assumed. There, we're going to get a card to Arsenal. And we are moving on back to Aria, who has some of her equipment a bit drained, but we do have this Vigor token to kind of help with this turn. And I believe we're looking at a 2-card hand plus Arsenal here.
Okay, so another Dusk Path. So this is coming in for 4 with the on hit from both Dorinthea's ability and Dusk Path's Pilgrimage, which you can attack with an additional turn, but currently presenting no source of go again. Refraction Bolters are the shoes that Aria is running. It looks like we're just gonna see the same Grains activation. I like that Aria has the 2 Dawnblades in case she does decide. Ooh, a
And
Genesis.
here we have the Genesis on Arya's turn. This is going to allow Alice to trigger the Genesis immediately, functionally, at the start of their turn. And we're playing with Vestige here, so the card pitched, if it's a light card, will give an extra resource here. Could be useful if it's a blue. You could activate the hero ability to transform the Figment, but you are putting it at risk of the Dawnblade. Now, of course, these Figments are great at preventing damage, which is a great way to be defensive against the Dorinthea style attack. However, they are allies and therefore do provide something to attack that cannot be blocked. So Arya can use the Dawnblade. Can use the allies rather as a way to get that counter on the Dawnblade.
So we're back to Arya's turn. That is going to be a hit and run, which will give Dawnblade go again.
Mm-hmm.
Use the vigor, so Dawnblade just coming in for 3 right now.
But we all know it's not actually for 3, right?
Of course
Surely
not.
there's more.
Not with all those cards in hand. We're getting a Celestial Cataclysm block.
Mm-hmm. For 3. It's just going to stop all of the damage, surely.
Surely.
I know how numbers work. You attack for 3, defend for 3, and that's 0.
So that is +1 can't be prevented from the Chorus of Iron Song.
Mm-hmm.
Dawnblade going to 4. Cannot be prevented. So the Spectral Shield.
Yeah. So, like you mentioned, even though there's a Spectral Shield here, it will try to prevent the damage, but it will not be able to due to the damage prevention. And it would allow it to get that damage through, but there was a Soul Shield here. Super
Yep, so we're
powerful
just gonna
defense
play
reaction.
a Goblet of the Blood Run wine with the go again to create an agility and a vigor and pass turn. Which I honestly I think that's a fine follow up. You can't attack with Dawnblade again. Might have
Mm-hmm.
been Aria's plan all along, or it's
At
a
the very
backup
least,
plan.
it's nice.
Yeah, yeah. At the very least, you can't complain about it.
Mm-hmm. And now we have a 2-card hand from Alice. They were able to trigger the Genesis, put an angel into the soul. It won't trigger the Prism ability due to the fact that it is a start of the turn trigger, or before it's before the action phase.
Yeah, at the beginning of your beginning of your beginning phase. Wait, start a turn.
And we have transformed one of the Figments. This has become Soraya, the Angel of Erudition. Attacking for 4, a soul is managed to draw 2 cards. Alice suddenly is filled aplenty with cards in hand once again. Well, at least 2 cards. 2 resources remaining, and we can still attack with Angels after this, because this Luminaris gives a go again, and we have Herald of Judgment. This one is a 2-cost 6 power with an on hit to prevent cards being played from banish. Not something that's likely to come up here, but it does still have the on hit of going to soul. which might be enough for Aria to want to prevent this from hitting.
Yeah, this board state is getting a little nasty.
Mm-hmm. Getting a little bit out of hand. If you're Aria, you might use this chance to take the damage. You have the life lead, and kind of guarantee your first Dawnblade hit on this Erudition, because you don't want that Erudition to stay on the field. But also, it then means that the second Dawnblade attack almost becomes like a must block or must prevent, because once it gets the counter, then it starts to become a lot more threatening.
Yeah, and we do know that Dawnblade will have go again next turn from the agility. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Figment of War. Create a courage
Yes.
token.
I believe that's War. War and Ravages confuse me art wise. They're both just very red and flammable.
I
Um,
feel like the wording, like what I can see of how many letters that word looks like it would be war.
it looks more like a 3 than a
Yeah, it's a courage
7.
token. It's a war.
There we go. Actually, something I just noticed that this Dawnblade doesn't have the counter yet, and because of the natural go again, what Arya can do is just swing the Dawnblade into Erudition the first time, deal it 3 damage, and then do it again into the same Erudition. But that does open you up to losing your turn to a Ravages being put into play from the Halo. So something to consider. You could make that play. It might end your turn, but it will deal with the Ravage of the Erudition regardless.
We did see a Balance of Justice activation, so Arya drew a card.
Mm-hmm. And she didn't block last turn, did she? And this is probably why.
Steel Blade Supremacy. This is +2 to Dawnblade this turn, and on hit, Arya will draw a card with Go Again. So this is coming in for 5 with Go Again currently.
Mm-hmm. And she's still sitting with 3 cards in hand, I believe. So
Uh,
you
yeah,
can probably expect a lot coming on top of this.
it was essentially a six card hand, 5 cards in hand, 1 arsenal.
Mm-hmm. Plus whatever you happen to draw as well off each Dawnblade hit. So there's Alice. They're signifying that they're going to defend for just 3 for the moment, and that there's 3 Spectral Shields currently in play. Actually, I think it's 2 Spectral Shields. No, it's 3. I think.
Third one.
I think it's
Uh,
3. I thought it was the courage token underneath it, but that's to the side of it instead.
Genesis, Spectral,
Oh, it's
War,
Genesis, right?
Courage.
Yeah.
Genesis, yeah.
Oh, this is
Um,
absolutely backbreaking here.
yeah. Another +1 can't be prevented from Chorus of Iron Song.
Mm-hmm. So all of those spectral shields and the erudition are going to try to prevent this damage, but they will not be able to. Um, so the damage is still going to come through at this current state. So we're looking at 6 against 3 at the moment.
Yes. Yep, taking 3. I mean, that is an efficient way to clear some board state here.
Mm-hmm.
Got the Go Again. We do draw a card.
Wonder what the players are discussing right now. See a lot of hand movements. Okay.
Um, I will say there's a few times when it seemed, when I was editing,
Mm-hmm.
that there were a few times during this game where things froze and they had to discuss what was going on.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So we have activated the grains as well. There are no resources floating at the moment, and Arya is now deciding how best to proceed with the remainder of this turn.
Still 2 cards in hand, I believe. 3 cards
I
in hand? How many
think it's
cards?
3 because of the draw from
Because of the draw from the.
the
Going to go to
Steelblade Supremacy.
2 vigor, create agility. Um,
And that second Dawnblade is coming into play.
so that's 8.
That's pretty big.
That's pretty big.
You have to assume that Blade Flurry was a card that was drawn off the
Off of
Steelblade
the
Supremacy.
steel. Yeah, yeah. And we'll draw another card off Steelblade Supremacy. Pitch again for the grains. Go to 3 vigor.
So if you're Aria
Dawnblade
here, you have to
gets.
feel pretty confident. You just got rid of one of, if not the most important angel. You functionally have a free blue for next turn. You have a +1 counter on your Dawnblade, and you have a source of go again.
And 3 resource. yeah. Free blue. Yes, sorry, you did say that. Yeah, that was a pretty powerful turn. And the I know. Ooh, a tome.
Mm-hmm.
Prism can crawl back from such a low life lead, but you still have to be
Oh.
comfortable having a good life lead. Let's
I
see.
was going to say, if you're the Dorinthea player, the only card you don't want to see here is the Arclight Sentinel. But here we go. It's a cold foil. I believe that's a Judge promo.
It's beautiful.
Alice's deck is looking stunning right now. But yeah, we have an Arclight Sentinel.
Yeah.
We have a not a Pierce Reality. So the Herald's going to get a little bit bigger. And all of these free resources, let's go again, everything that Aria worked so hard for at the last turn, will not come to fruition this turn, most likely.
Yeah, this is an open deck list, so you know that Aria is not running any of those action point cards that I can't think of any of their names right now. What's
Come on, you had one on your cosplay.
what?
The Time Snap Potion.
Time snap potion. Oh yeah, time snap. Hey, I just woke up as usual. When we
Yeah,
do
that's
these.
so valid.
Time snap. What's the other one? I can see the art. It's lead. Is it
Lead the
not lead?
charge?
Yeah. Is that?
That one gives you an action if you play a card that costs X
Yeah.
or less. So you could use it,
Not.
and or is it a card or is it an attack? I don't actually remember right now. It's not a Runeblade matchup, so it's not in my mind.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever run it in Warrior. I don't know.
I don't think I've seen it in Warrior, but Timestamp Potion is definitely a card I've seen in Warrior decks in the past, but not this one.
This is a lead with speed, so we are going to create an agility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Dawnblade does get +3,
Mm-hmm.
but we know it's going to the Arclight Sentinel.
Mm-hmm.
Warriors Valor is going to be another +3 to Dawnblade on hit. Go again. And then another lead with speed. I'm assuming we're just kind of filtering our hand.
Yeah. I have to assume if you're Aria here, you're trying to set up a pitch stack. It might have been like a Blue Warriors Valor, maybe, just to kind of upgrade your arsenal a little bit. Because the
Yeah.
blue one's like fine to arsenal. I think I did catch a peek, and I think it was blue. A
Okay.
blue one's fine, but you'd much rather have a more reliable source of go again, and b a more powerful card, like raw power wise. One's nice, but 3 is better. Bigger
It
number.
it is a blue. Yeah. The blue. Um Looks like we're just getting some clarification about what was played, what was done here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, I love my rainbow foils. I don't just mean the community, I mean, like, I love rainbow foils in my deck. But all these cold foils are kind of making
It's
me wish
really
I had, like, a fully cold foil deck, I guess, if possible, which it isn't. Which is why I prefer rainbow foils, because I can have that sort of consistency throughout my entire deck. But it doesn't quite work when I'm playing Figments. So now I'm mildly jealous of these, like, cold foil auras, and I feel like I should be doing better.
yeah. You could have like a fully cold foil board state though.
Yeah.
It's really pretty.
It is really pretty. I'm heartbroken on the inside that it's not me.
Really pretty.
Oh, we are wanting a big herald this turn. With open deck lists, do we know how many poppers, quote unquote, there are in zero? There are zero
There are
poppers?
not. Yeah, zero poppers.
Okay, so we're just gonna get
Um,
a big +3 on this first herald. Oh, not even +3, we're getting +5 because of the Pierce
courage,
Reality.
Pierce Reality, and Courage, and Goliath.
Sorry.
Pitch the Light of Soul.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
don't
that's a
know if you want it.
tome. Oh, Al's choosing to keep it
Uh,
on top because you're gonna get this erudition into Soul. We know it's gonna happen. There is not enough of a fridge to stop how hot of an angel attack this is. That felt forced. um, this coming in for 10. It's most likely going to hit. There's no defense reactions as well, as far as I can see in the deck lists. So we're gonna draw 2
no.
cards. We're gonna draw this Tobin. We're gonna keep this train going. Depending on how many resources you can get here, you could probably try to find the Figment of Rebirth that you pitched long ago and get that Arclight Sentinel back into play.
Taking all 10 to
Mm-hmm.
17. Oh, there's Prism.
And we have a cold foil prism, but we're just gonna put this cat on top of it. I mean,
They
I
have
can't
the
say I'm
Prism.
surprised. Yeah, they have the prism, but
Yeah.
this cat is more important. And I'm sure if you're a cat listening, you would agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like Alice might have done a quick count on the resources in hand. They have 3 cards in hand, I think. Okay, so they're not going for the loop, quote unquote, just yet.
Genesis has been around nearly the entire game.
Yeah. And it's been doing some great work. It's giving Alice like 2 to 3 resources every turn. It's giving them a spectral shield every turn. It's just really kind of guaranteeing everything. But if you're Aria, you can't really afford to like take a turn off and hit it. Like you can maybe block out and attack it, which hasn't really been Aria's game plan. She's been avoiding the auras mainly until she was no longer allowed to avoid the auras, um, by virtue of it being an Arclight Sentinel. But it'd be interesting to see if she tries to block out this next attack, maybe it just comes for the Genesis, or maybe if she's writing it off as like too little too late and just going to try to brute force her way through all of this ward. She's gone through 2 of that reaction already as well, which is a bit tough, knowing that there's 1 left in the deck, I assume. But also, Singing Steelblade's kind of an option here as well.
Mm. That's really pretty. I've been distracted.
Is that like an AP Spectral Shield?
It looks. I think that is an AP Spectral Shield.
How good.
How good.
It's almost mocking. Like, you have this golden haired, blonde, powerful looking woman just staring at Dorinthea and being like, are you going to do anything about it?
Yeah, this board state is just so pretty.
Mm-hmm. We're getting 3 resources, paying 2 to transform one of the figments, or the only figment. No, there's 2 figments in play. I take that back. But we're
Two
transforming one of
figments.
them.
War and protection. That's 8 ages.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, look at me. I'm a Prism player.
I mean, if you ever want to learn, like, I'm right here.
I have always said that like if you want to learn any illusionist deck, you need to learn from a specialist. Like, you know,
Mhm.
I can teach people. I could teach people like decks more than just the decks that I main, but I could never teach someone illusionist, and illusionist
And
it's hard.
we have a
Merciful
merciful retribution
retribution.
coming in. So now all these spectral shields are threatening arcane damage on top of that.
This is so scary.
That Tome of Divinity is such a super powerful card, absolutely ridiculous, in combination with Genesis getting you free resources this turn. We've pitched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 light cards, and we've spent all of the resources gained from that.
This is so scary.
I don't believe there's any floating. I can't see any represented, and I haven't done the math in
I
my head to say. But yeah, we
I
played 4 for the Tome, 4 to transform the Herald, another 4 for 2 angel heralds rather. And this is a Figment of Tenacity, which I believe gives Dominate to the next attack this turn. This is the only Figment I don't actually play, so I don't know this one off the top of my head. But I believe it's the next
uh
attack. I think it's just being used as a way to soak up some life. Or some damage, rather, in the next turn.
I don't think we're running Figment of Tenacity in the deck list.
Oh no, that was Judgment. Never mind.
Judgment
Okay, yeah.
is you banish the card, yeah, face down from the in the banish
That's
zone,
not one of the
which we
Figments I own
did.
as a Marvel. I had to borrow the Marvel one for Nationals. So I'm less familiar with that art. But it banishes a card from the graveyard. Not
Yeah,
relevant here.
we're.
It's just gonna soak up some damage.
Ooh.
Never mind, it's not soaking up damage this turn. We have the third copy of that card. I don't
The
actually
Courage
know
of
the name.
Iron Song, Chorus of Iron Song.
Right. So this is coming in for 3. Damage can't be prevented. It looks like Alice has chosen no blocks here, so we could accidentally see lethal here if Aria has enough resources to keep on going on top of this. But it looks like they're going to damage now, because Alice is pointing out that their spectral shields are doing their best Verdant's impersonation and dealing little points of damage. Verdant's, or Viscerai, or any sort of rune blade that you want.
Got some board state cleared.
Mm-hmm. And this might be the point where Aria might be considering using the uh Brave Forge. No, not Brave Forge braces. The bolters,
Yeah, refraction bolters.
refraction
This
bolters.
did have go again from
Oh,
the.
right,
I
of
think
course.
it had an agility the turn prior.
It has the cute little knight token agility.
Yep. I believe that's the Runaways.
Oh, I was wondering where that was from.
Yeah, Team
Um,
Runaways. Yeah.
there you go. Alice was probably just showing Aria what the card was, but in my mind, they were flexing that it was a very beautiful card.
Before I put it away, just look how pretty it is one more time.
Mm-hmm. Aegis is my favorite angel. Uh,
Me too.
she's just there to look after you and to protect everyone.
She's so pretty.
Yeah. Okay. So, not quite sure what's happening here. Maybe they're chatting. Maybe there's been something frozen, like you mentioned.
They could be chatting. Aria could be asking for clarification on
Mm-hmm.
what all these things do left on the board.
Yeah. Alice, you have so many permanents. Please tell me. Remind me what they all are.
Oh yeah, what are they? What do they do again? All
You
right,
have more cards
we're
in play
gonna
than I
see
have intellect. Please stop.
a Brave Forge activation, which will be +1 to next Dawnblade.
And here we go, coming in for just 4 damage. Looks around nervously. Now, the Chorus of Iron Song, does it affect the remainder of the turn or just that one attack?
I believe it affects the remainder of the turn.
So we won't be seeing Alice pitching a card to transform that Figment of Judgment. They're just going to have to deal with this by the sheer will and power of their own cards in hand. Contemplated a Vestige and maybe even Phantasmal Footsteps block there. There we go. So we are going to have to pitch a little bit for this Footsteps if we want it to do something.
Yes.
We're defending for
just
2.
fact checked myself. It is until end of turn on the Chorus of Iron Song.
Okay. So it looks like Alice just wanted to defend a little bit without turning on Reprise. We're using that additional resource that's left floating to activate the Halo at the end of turn. And we have got the Arcane Damage one coming in. This is the Figment of Ravages. This looks like this might be the game. Assuming that Alice has enough resources to transform this. And attack with it. I think they have 1 card left in hand. They're going to get the Genesis trigger. Oh no, they have 2 cards in hand. Okay, they're going to get the Genesis trigger. It looks like they're putting a red away. Putting a card in Soul. We don't have the Vestige trigger, but most likely we're going to be able to transform the Figment of Ravages into Sekhem, the Archangel of Ravages. Please flip it over for us, just so we can see it. Not
Just
for being
so we can
pedantics.
see it.
Yeah, not to be pedantic. There we go.
There.
And there is 2 arcane damage, 4 physical. There's no arcane barrier on the other side. And I don't believe there's a taken on the chin either. Cool. Was that abrupt? Did that just finish?
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
On to top 4 next week.
Woohoo!
Woo.
We could probably just keep it in and the screen goes blank.
Yeah.
Just us talking. Yay!
Hey.